What is up, responsible day traders? Today is Monday, October 10th, 2022. I am Lindsay Duff, and this is Responsible Day Trading. Okay, so we actually, I just got off the line with our first scholarship student applicant that we have spoken with. We have quite a few more that are going to be scheduling some time with us, so we're really looking forward to that. We do still have the applications open until the end of this week, and then we'll be closing that and going through the applicants. On the 25th of October, we're going to be announcing the 4 winners of that, and that will be announced from London at noon Central Time, and that'll be 6 p.m. while we were out there in London. So let's go ahead and see what the news has going on. We'll check out the market. I haven't really looked at it today. I mean, obviously it was a half day this morning. So let's go ahead and check out what we got going on. All right, so let's go ahead and head over to news, and we're gonna go to market news, and we're gonna check out what we got going on over there. So this week, nothing tomorrow, but Wednesday we have something at 7:30 in the morning. So we want to be aware of that. It's an hour before the market opens. We have something going on at 11, and then we have FOMC at 1. We know FOMC can make the market act a little crazy, so we just want to pay attention and be aware so we can usually sit out for a little bit while it's making the decision what it's going to do. Thursday, we've got a lot of pre-market. So if you do pre-market, you just want to pay attention to that. Then we also have 10 a.m. crude inventories, and then Friday we have pre-market. So most of the stuff is pre-market. We really want to pay attention to what's going on the FOMC minutes, because that one can get a little crazy. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the market, see what we got going on. Okay, look at this. We talked about it possibly coming right back down to this little spot that it did. Bam, like a glove, touched it and bounced off of it. Went way up, didn't quite make it to the EMAs, but we had a really decent pullback. And what happened right here in the MACDs? We never crossed the top Bollinger Band. So that is a pretty decent sign that we've got some things going on. This is our last major low, right? I really don't expect the MACDs to make their way back down there. I think this was more of a fluke spike that happened, and I don't really see the MACDs working their way down there. So we do have a new low that has happened right here in the MACDs, and I'm going to pull this down just a little bit. And we can see right in this area where it's pulled down to several times, and it's struggling a little bit to go through. So what we're looking at here, we had white BBs, we had a nice sharp move up. It couldn't get us back above the Bollinger Band. Now, look at what's happening here though. The price is pulled down. It looks like it's trying to make a bit of a reversal bar. We're gonna have to see this close move up to the upside to be a reversal bar technically, but at the same time, sometimes those things can move pretty big over here on the daily chart. Now, what I really want to pay attention to is what's happened right in here. We had a nice strong pull to the downside. This is all we've seen in the MACDs so far. So we had a big move that moved this market all the way back down towards the area that created the bounce prior, and the MACDs are really struggling to keep up. So they're having a hard time breaking through this bottom Bollinger Band so far. With all this movement we've seen to the downside, we would really anticipate already seeing these BBs picking up some strength and moving through this bottom Bollinger Band. Can we still move down to it and bounce off of it? Absolutely. We may see this pull down, settle down around here. We may see it even pull down a little bit further and settle back in right around here. Right now, it's trying to create a little bit of divergence. It's just retracement divergence so far because we're just leading a little bit higher in the MACDs than we were the price. So the EMAs are opened up to the downside with strength, but honestly, I would really anticipate this to, with the weakness of the MACDs, and we'll look and see what everything else says, but with the weakness of the MACDs, I would anticipate this to try and bounce back up, maybe come back towards this area as the EMAs come back down and kind of settle in with the EMAs there. So we're going to have to look at the other charts to see what they're saying. So let's go ahead and pull up that 28,657. All right. What are you telling me, sir? Okay. So the 28,657 right now, the direction is definitely down. I mean, the direction is still down pretty much on everything right now. It's trying to make the shift to the upside on the smaller charts, but we're not even going to worry about this currently. The direction is still down. And what I mean by it's still down is we are below the EMAs. We are below the zero line. We got just a little tinge above, but we really want to see breaking above both in order to anticipate the activity to remain to the upside. Now, we have pulled down, and the MACDs have very, very weakly come down, but we may see them do something a little along the lines of this. So this is kind of what I'm expecting to happen with the daily chart as well. Just kind of pull down and pull back up. And if it does pull back up, we're going to have to pay attention. Is it pulling back up with strength to push it back up further? Are we going to see it just barely pull back above? Right now, it looks like it's attempting to move back to the upside. The price has come down. It started making these tiny little bars right in here. The MACDs are very, very weak to the downside currently. So like I said, we may see this pull back up. So it's at 36.27. If it pulls back up, it may pull back all the way up towards the area of right in here. And if it starts showing strength as it gets through there, we'll be looking at the next area, which is back around here. By that time, this EMA will come down to greet that support/resistance area a little bit. So the overall direction is currently down. It's attempting to look like a move to the upside, but it's not there yet. We're starting to see a little bit of an attempt to that weak move, and the opposite end on the daily chart here. So, all right, I'm going to pull these up a little bit. I don't know why they go down, but hey, you know what? The good thing is it's easy to change, right? All right, so let's look at our trading charts. And looking at the 10,946, direction to the downside, below the EMAs, below the zero line. And one thing about this is it got back above the zero line here. But look what happened every time it attempted to push back up and continue. Not only did the price not break through the EMA, the MACDs also never broke through that top Bollinger Band, which told us more to the downside. So currently right now on the 10,946 and on the 1597, it's pulling right into an area that is a resistance area. We have the EMA of the 10,946, the EMA of the 1597, the EMA of, the large and the small EMA of the 1597. So it's technically considered a stronger area because we have all of those areas lined up together. We are still outside of the Bollinger Band here, even though it's trying to roll in. What I like is how this BB is trying to show the move back up. We had this big pull down, no reaction in the MACDs. So it's very in tune with what we're looking at on the 28,657 and the daily chart, that it's attempting to make the move back up. Now, when I say attempting, we really want to get back above these areas and pull into them with expectations of continuation up. What would make the expectations of continuation up? Well, shifts in these MACDs, getting back above the zero line, showing strength and momentum to continue in that direction. Kind of like what happened here where we're down below, then it breaks to the upside, it pulls back in, it gives us the ultimate retracement divergence and continues up. So it's a little bit of a touchy area. It always is in overnight situations, but we can see that we do have direction down. We've had a lot of movement. We've had a lot of pushing to the downside. We had these strong pullbacks that happen here, these strong pushes that happen here. And the MACDs could never make a new low on our bigger charts, which tells us to anticipate it to push up. So, man, I'd like to see it not do something like this and pull back and sit up. I would like to actually see it pull back above and see some continuation up. But let's talk about what happens if we anticipate this pushing to the downside. I would expect it to make it back down towards this area and then eventually make a run for that next big major area. So these are things that we have to keep in mind. One thing that we really want to do while we're watching this is just remember, guys, we're seeing a lot of back and forth movement, right? We're seeing a lot of price action, attempting to make a lot of reversal bars. So we clean it up by looking at what the MACDs are telling us, what reversal bars have a little bit more weight and validity. Something like right up in here where you got the reversal bar and it never crossed the top Bollinger Band. And then you got an even bigger oomph whenever you got the reversal bar here happening and the MACDs never got inside of the Bollinger Bands. So the first time it couldn't get above, second time it couldn't even get inside. This is a good signal for the move back to the downside, and you have lots of space to travel back to the EMAs at that point. So those are some things that you want to look at too. Do I have space to travel to the next area? And if you're looking to take a long currently right in here, you don't have space to travel to the next area because you're at that area. You want to be able to see breaking through this area, getting above it, and then having space to travel back to this next area, right? And we don't really see anything like that right now. Right now, we're sitting at an area that this could very easily turn and roll to the downside. We haven't broken back above the Bollinger Bands here. It does look like it wants to push up, but we want to be, since we are very discretionary in the way that we're trading, we want to have our mindset around us and be prepared for the what happens if. And so what happens if we try and take a long right here, right now, and it turns around? We're going to get stopped out immediately. So I want to see it break through this area, pull back into it, and then I want it to give me lots of strong signals that it's going to continue up if it's going to. So, all right, guys and gals, that is going to wrap it up. Remember, we've got just a little bit more time for you to fill out that application. I'll put a link down here so you can check that out and send that in. And we're looking at them all. We're reading them all. I love learning about you guys, getting to know you, all that kind of stuff, and see what kind of future we might hold together. So everyone, I hope you have a wonderful week. If you have questions, reach out to us. We're happy to help you. And as always, you know that I look forward to catching you on the profitable side.